ICA has identified unauthorized attempts to change residential addresses registered with ICA via our electronic change of address, or in short, ECOA service. The purpose of this session is really to explain to media our findings and the action we are taking. So under the National Registration Act, all NRC holders must report changes in their residential address to ICA within 28 days. And as part of our digitalization efforts over the last few years, which we have been updating the media from time to time, we introduced the electronic change of address in 2020. So with these services, Singapore citizens, permanent residents who reside locally or overseas can report a change of address to ICA online without them having to physically come down to ICA, or in the past, if you remember, they have to go down to the nearest MPP to make the changes. So I refer now to the slides on the screen on how the change of address work. So first, applicants can access the ECOA services on our website or via our My ICA app using their Singpass account. They can apply for the changes under any one of the three modules, under myself, or to change myself and my family members, or others. After submitting their applications, the applicants will then receive a unique PIN by mail to their new address. And then they will use this PIN to verify their address online before the changes are finally effective. Of course, they will also receive a sticker of their new address which they can paste on their NRIC. So the first one under my, can you go back one more slide? Yeah, so I just go through the three modules so you better understand how the module works. So under myself module is quite straightforward. Any one of you log on to your the module via your Singpass, you can go ahead and change your own address. Under the myself and my family members module, it's quite similar to the myself module. So let's say if you you have moved house, you want to change the address for yourself, your children, and your wife, you can go in, log into your Singpass, key in the NRIC and date of issue of your family members, then all of you can change the address at one go. And in order to do that, you must change your address at the same time. You cannot just go into the module and only change your family member's address without changing your own. So that is the myself and my family members module. Then we also, back in 2020, introduced the others module. The others modules was primarily introduced for the less digitally savvy, for example, nursing home. You know, when residents either transfer to nursing home or switch between homes, and then they need to update their address, the nursing home staff can then help them to register. Or also for those without access to Singpass, they can then use this module to register or change of their address. How this works is that the person whose address need to be changed can approach a proxy. The proxy will then key in, to log in using their Singpass to log in into the module, and then they will key in the NRIC number and the date of issue of the person whom the address is supposed to be changed. And then with that, ICA will receive the notification. Then we will send a PIN mailer to the new address of the person whose address is being changed. And then from there, the proxy can use the PIN mailer to update online and effect the change. So broadly, that's how it works. So for example, I use the nursing home as an example. The nursing home staff will then go to the online portal, key in the NRIC number and date of issue of the residents. Once they get it through ICA, and we will then issue a PIN mailer to the nursing home. The nursing home staff can then take the PIN mailer and update. You can go to your online and effect that this address has been changed, then you'll be updated online, and then we will at the same time send a sticker to the nursing home for them to paste a sticker onto the NRIC of the residents. So just to give you an example of the nursing home so that you better understand broadly how under the others module work for this particular module. So altogether, every month we have close to about 20,000 ECOA transactions. Of this 20,000, about 900 Singapore residents who changed their addresses via the others module. Then from September 2024, ICA started investigating cases of unauthorized changes of residential address. Initially, there were only a few cases that appeared unconnected, but more cases surfaced. And by late December 2024, our investigation actually uncovered how the unauthorized changes of residential address were effected and what they were used for. And we found so far about 20 unauthorized attempts to change address, out of which 75 of them were successful in changing the residential address of another person. And based on our investigation, the perpetrators probably had used stolen or compromised Singpass account to change the residential address of the victims through the other modules of the ECOA services. In order to do so, they will have to first be able to acquire both the NRIC number and the date of issue of the NRIC of the victims, and to input these details into our ECOA services. The ECOA services, as I explained here, would then send a verification PIN mailer to the registered new residential address set by the perpetrator, and he could then access the mailer to confirm the change of address. And for some of the cases we encounter, once the registered address of the victim has been changed, and then some were used to set a new password of the victim's Singpass account. This was done by requesting Singpass services to mail a new PIN to the new registered residential address set by the perpetrator. And it is likely that the perpetrator are then using stolen or compromised Singpass accounts and letterbox of third party, because in order for them to complete the whole process, they must be in a position to be able to receive the physical PIN mailer in the new registered address. And based on our investigation, likely they are doing this to generate more Muse account to use for scam and other cyber crimes. So knowing this, what has ICA done? We have temporarily disabled our ECOA services today to prevent further abuse of the services, and also allow us to implement additional service security measures. I think one such measure would be the integration of face verification technology into the Singpass login, so that even if they have a compromised Singpass of another person, they will not be able to use that Singpass to access the module to effect the change of address. We will conduct a further review the next 2 days, and we'll try to bring back up the service by 14 January on the Thursday. But the others module will likely remain unavailable for the time being until we are able to put in place further measures over and above the facial recognition for Singpass. So members of the public who require a change in their residential address can perform their transaction when the services resume, hopefully by 14 January. And for those who have no Singpass or require a proxy assistant to change their address, they can come down to ICA building for assistance. And ICA also in the process of contacting the affected individual. We will help them to replace their NRIC with a new date of issue and rectify their addresses. And we are also working with GovTech to reset their Singpass account, which could have been compromised. At the same time, we also wanted to use today's press conference to advise the public to check their registered address through our My ICA app, and then if there's any inaccuracy to report to ICA immediately, so that we can follow up with them accordingly. Yeah. At the same time, we also like to apologize for any inconvenience caused as we work to reinforce the security of our ECOA services.